Hi, everybody. This is Ebba Karlsson and True Start Coaching. Welcome to today's show. Today I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce somebody I've known for quite a while and reconnected with just a couple of years ago. Her name is Premleena Wettergran. She's from Sweden, and I have her here from Sweden. And she's adorable, and she's a beautiful artist in the art of living. She just came out with, actually, it's a couple of years ago now, you came out with your first book called New Life Vision. Looks like this.
Yes.
And you're also writing another book that is coming out pretty soon. So would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners and our viewers?
I love to. Where to start? It's a rich life. I met you is maybe almost 30 years ago. No, not so much, but almost. And it was quite in the beginning of my journey. Maybe I was working as a therapist and a coach and group leader, but it was just in my beginning. And why did I end up helping people turning within? That's because I had to do that. When I was 28, I was just falling down on the floor where I lived in Stockholm in a relationship. Everything was fine from the outside, but I just fell on the floor and asked for help, crying. I couldn't stand one more day like the way I was living. Nothing on the outside really fulfilled me. So from that day, something really changed and help was coming. And one of the big helps, how to say it, was a group for 12 weeks going within a STAR process, self towards awareness rebirth. I had no idea about anything about this. Just before it started, I got very strange breast disease, an infection. It's strange. No one really knows what it was, but I ended up in the hospital and laying there in kind of very dizzy. The doctor said, "Where is the baby?" And I said, "What? I don't have a baby." "Yeah, because you don't get this if you don't have given birth to a baby." Anyway, when I was laying there in kind of a dizzy land, I realized this is about my mother, breast and my mother and baby and all that, because I didn't want to have babies. I couldn't think myself as a mother because I couldn't handle that. So I understood there that I need to work on my inner child or whatever. I didn't have that word. And I needed to forgive my mother for not being there for me. So there was a lot of traumas. So this 12 weeks was kind of a journey within me, layer by layer by layer by layer with therapists. And I think we were 12 people in that process. Actually, I didn't care so much about the others. It was only my journey. And this journey ended up one night that I was kind of free from the story. And I realized I'm whole, nothing is wrong, has been broken. Everything is just as it should be inside within me. And I felt like falling in love, silent love, not any kind of, just very ordinary, like I was the sky instead of all the parts that I've been hanging on to, that I was a victim under circumstances and my mother didn't love me, or I was just making everything wrong coming to this world. Whatever the traumas was about, I was free kind of. But I didn't have words for it then. I was just in a calm, peaceful, endless space. And in that, new things started to happen. And I ended up, after some time, I dropped out of the relationship. I dropped out of my work. I was a clothes buyer. Yeah. And very successful in that. But everything just went away. Not from not wanting it, but it just happened.
Yeah.
And from that, a new life kind of started. Life took my hand, and I was kind of guided into going to India and America and starting to educate myself in
Yes,
meditation and coaching and
you have
therapy. And
you have a very beautiful quote on your website that I'd like to read, because it
yeah,
so
please.
ties up everything that, in my opinion, that you stand for and what you've been sharing all these years. It goes, meditation or aware presence gives you wisdom. Turning inside into your own inner source gives you possibilities to live in a loving way from the wisdom that is already there inside you.
Yes.
Unconscious life gives you pain. Find the path that leads you to oneness, your own inner self and wisdom. Wake up and become aware of what is holding you back. Trust that life is guiding you. Find the path that leads you to the present moment and your own inner source. From Buddha. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what I found from you. And I'd like to share a little bit about the story, how we actually met, because it was quite transforming for me too. As I was working at the body shop, and I wrote this in the book, True Starlight, I was really tired of working at the body shop, and we had this guy called Roger Nilsson. He was a man, a Whitbread sailor, that came to our meeting. We had a kickoff with the body shop team and the managers, and he came there to share his story. And it was amazing to listen to him. He was very charismatic. And there was this lady that was in the back, like kind of supporting him on a distance, and it was this energy coming from you, and between the two of you I could feel like, who is this lady and this man? I have to know more about this. And later he became my mentor when I wanted to create my own health center, and he could see that I was definitely trying to find something, and it was not on the outside, and I was really struggling. I was not doing very well. And he said, you need to go to this place called Mullingstorp. It will be good for you. So I ended up going there for 3 days, and there you were. And
Yes.
it kind of shifted my life, the whole process of meeting myself with Dr. Bengt Stern and all the therapists. But you really made a huge impact on me. Yeah.
Happy to hear.
Yeah, and not only that, because one of the most important things I remember was I had about 3 boyfriends at that time. I was very confused. I didn't know where.
That confuses oneself when you have 3 boyfriends. It's true.
For sure. And I came to you for a private session, and you looked me into my eyes, and you looked a bit stern, and you were saying, you know what, Ebba? Because I was complaining a lot about, I don't know who to pick, and I am so lost. And she said, it's not about them, it's about you. And that day it was like, really? It's not about the outside? I have to change myself, it's not changing them? So that was the start of an amazing adventure. I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah.
So later, when you've done the STAR process, and how did you realize that you needed to share and become a therapist?
I never realized that, to be honest. It happened by
Really?
itself. I went to India, I met this master, and I was sitting there meditating with thousands of other people, and I did all the groups I could afford at the time, long trainings, and one of them was therapist training, and everyone was going to become therapist, and the therapist running this group was asking me, so you're becoming a therapist, that's beautiful. And I said, no, I'm not here for that. I'm just here because this is the longest, best way to just open myself even more. And she said, oh, really? Yeah, I'm never going to work as a therapist. And the thing is that I was so shy. I've always been very, very shy. So it was not on the map even to kind of sit and talk. Or I didn't have that in me, I thought. So it was never a choice. But when I came back from India, after being going back and forth for many times, and just being in Blissland, coming back to Sweden, Bengt called me and said, "You need to come because I have someone here and I need you." And I said, "Okay." And I can help him, of course, but that's it. I'm not going to work there. And he said, no, you're not going to work here. And then he said, of course you're going to work here. And I said, okay, maybe I can try. And then he got cancer and he said, can you please run this place? So I started to run these Meet Yourself groups with 30 people. And it was a school. And I just felt this is exactly where I should be. This is where I can learn the most. And I did that for 6 years until I felt this is done now. He was quite a complicated man to be working with, and he was in bed and having cancer, and I was going back and forth. I didn't sleep for weeks. I mean, it was really crazy, but we did a good job.
You really did. And I know there are a lot of people not only in Sweden and other countries too, that have gone through Meet Yourself, as they're called, Möt dig själv, and the trainings, as well as my husband. It transformed his life, and that's where we met. So
I had him in groups, 2 groups, I think, in the beginning there. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And also the people that came was so ready to work on themselves. So that was also so beautiful, that the longing to really change some, or if it's pain, or if it is longing, or if it is I need to change something, I can't go on like this. And I could realize the same feeling I had, that something needs to change. Nothing on the outer world can change my happiness. It felt like no boyfriend, no houses, no anything. So that was really so beautiful. But even if so, I needed to end the work there. So I was 35 or something.
So that's when you left Mullingstorp and started your own journey, your own path, your own business, kind of, or?
I did that already, working there, because it was on my own kind of energy, even if it was his place. But then I stopped of different reasons, and it was just ready for me to move. So I took a break from. It was kind of shocking also just to end up and working with this. I didn't know that. Wow, is this my life? But many people came and they asked me to come to Norway and do groups, and they asked me to go here and there, and I did some company stuff in Norway and with leaders, and life started to happen more and more. And then there was one man that had cancer. He came to Mullingstorp, and he was kind of famous jeans king of Sweden, and he bought a place up in Dalarna and said, can you come and make a group place out of this? So I was helping him creating a new place from the scratch. And also I said, now we know how it's going to look. So can you please fill it with groups? And I created some groups that is still running. The door opener, opening the door into your heart, into your being. So, and that was even more intense. So for 7 years I was there, going back and forth, and that was kind of where I became more famous, or something to say like
what
that.
What was the main ingredients in that training? What was it that really got people hooked in doing that? Because it was a very popular training. What do you think was the...
I think there's a few things. I am not a business person from education, so I don't know. But my kind of experience and my own, what people heard about me from Mullingstorp and how I worked and sessions and families or whatever, that I had a good reputation that go there. So of course, if you do a good job, so to speak, and I'm very grateful for that, people talk about you. And then he, as a man, he was famous in a way. And he had new ways of he said, now we're going to introduce the group place, and we're going to sit in this Sturehov, one of Stockholm's fanciest restaurants, in the bar. And I had never been to that bar. I'd been to the restaurant, but oh, the bar, we're going to sit in the bar. Yeah, we're going to introduce, we invite people. So he was more fancy dancy like this. And of course, also his daughter is famous. She's a designer, Philippa K. So of course that helped. It was like, and so, but the ingredients is kind of really presence. Just stopping for a few days, 3.5 days, just stop, and we turn within and we see what wants to come. And I guide people, and we meditate, and we start to build a platform of more understanding who we are, not being so afraid of ourselves, like thoughts, feelings, sadness coming up, whatever. And then the more just in different aspects of it, day after day, and also meditating, you start to feel love, and you start to meet people that has the same. Are you also? And then something magical happens, but it's really a presence process.
Yeah.
It's like whatever. So we just opening, and then such a beautiful process. And after 3.5 days, everyone are happy and falling in love with each other and themselves, basically. So, and I always say, if we could stop this world for 3.5 days, and everyone would go within and find all the love, all the magic, all the potential of creating something beautiful, that would be a gift. But I know that's not the way it is, but that's my dream.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dream, and it's worth holding on to, I think, because maybe eventually that's where we're all go anyway. And I just to add to what you just said, I think experiencing the trainings, parts of the trainings you did, that many of them are inspired from Osho, the Indian guru and philosopher. I think his wisdom was very profound, and I would not have had the chance to grow so much into myself without that experience at Mullingstorp, but also with Osho. I did a therapist training as well in Osho Risk in Denmark. And just you can't avoid yourself. You have to meet yourself, and realizing that there's nothing to be afraid of, because I stuck all my emotions deep within, and I was never going to show anybody who I really was, because that was a sign of weakness. And as I processed the education there, I really learned, like, the more I can allow myself to be a whole being, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just an illusion, really.
It is an illusion.
What a great freedom.
And when I realized that, wow, no one has ever told me that everything is within me and nothing is kind of wrong or broken, and we are love. If we can start love ourselves, that's the first step. I need to understand a little bit about emotions and thoughts and being in the present moment and all that. But no one ever in school or when we grow up said, oh, really trust yourself. Listen, what do you feel? What do you want? No, be like her, be like him, be better than him. No, you're no worse than him, or whatever. So this realization that, wow, I am perfect and you are also. And I didn't have any spiritual kind of family, or my father didn't like therapists at all. It was like, ugh. If you really want to say something bad about someone, it was like, oh, I think she's a therapist. So it was, I wasn't kind of taught or inspired by anyone. So it was such, wow, if I can realize this, everyone can.
Yeah, beautiful.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it is.
So tell me something about, you also developed something called the New Life Vision. That's kind of grew from within you as a therapist through the years of discovering yourself and going to Pune, India, and meeting all these beautiful people. So tell me something. What is the core? What is it that you're teaching in this book? And who should do this training with you? Because you do have retreats nowadays
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
book as a base.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, everyone can come. Anyone who has a longing, who wants to change something, who feels there's more within me than I'm living. I love my wife, but I don't really come out with it, or I want to do something else in life, and something that is kind of itchy inside that wants. Or if I see I always do this, I go bankruptcy every second year, or I I don't say yes to what I believe in or whatsoever. That is something that you really want to do a change. So that's a good one.
Mm.
But maybe you don't want to change. You just want someone to love you. It's also good. I just want to be seen or whatever. So basically it's for everyone. And I really want also to, even if you're happy, but you feel there's more. I have a beautiful relationship, but somehow we are not kind of living it totally. Or as a woman, what is it? There's so many concepts about things. So for everyone.
Mm. That's
I
great.
love everyone. I don't know why I'm here. And I say, that is perfect. Let's find out. On Sunday or 3.5 days, we will know why. And I say, wow, now I understand. So that's perfect.
That's great.
Yeah. And since I've been working now for many, many years and met thousands of people and transformed their lives, hopefully, so many times people came to me and they said, I don't need therapy. Okay, that's fine. I don't need, I'm not a spiritual person. Okay, that's fine. But actually, we are all spiritual persons. We all come from the same source. It's so magical that we are sitting here with teeth and hair and it grows by itself. I mean, it's magic. And we meet people that we kind of, wow, where did they come from?
Mm.
Situations. So it's like we are in a very spiritual world,
Mm-hmm.
even if we don't see that.
Yeah.
So it's not about being spiritual or not. It's being aware, awake, to wake up to understanding.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's how it is. So, and then I don't need therapy. I have never met anyone who don't need it. And it's not like I need it, but we are lost in conditions. I'm Swedish and I do this, and you are a man, you do that, and I don't believe in that. We have so many thoughts and conditions, and we are kind of boxed in from where we grow up. And I think that's meant to be like that. We got lost there. I'm not worthy, or I am worthy. I'm more worthy than you, or my brother, he always wins over me. I mean, there are thousands and one things. Or we are Christians, or we are this and we are that. To look into that. Who am I? Is this me? Or do I have another source within me that has a wisdom that wants to flower? So therapy, and some people have really hard times when they grow up. And of course, they want to change because it was so horrible. Some people don't have that, but there's a lot under the carpet, we say in Sweden. I don't know if we say that. The kind of, the secrets are under
the closet.
Yeah, and
we can say.
Yeah, in the closet. Yeah, that's true. So we all have stuff to see how we think and how we feel and how we kind of pushed it down. So in a way, we need to become more aware about stuff when opening up. I don't know why I cry, but it feels very good. Yeah. So
what are some of the benefits that you see people coming out with after these 3 days? How long are your retreats now?
Usually 3.5 days. I have some shorter and some longer, but mostly 3.5 days. First of all, I think most of the people feel they have an understanding. I understand something about myself. It's not that we are going to be finished and clear and now I know everything. No. We're just opening up to something, and I see, my God, I am energy, and I have a lot of closed energy, and I have opened up, and I feel more relaxed, more confident, and I feel very much love or loving. And it's not like, oh, now I don't need to do anything more. It's like it's a living thing. So you feel more love, more confident, like I am here to be me, and I understand why I can't do that because my father did that or whatever. But that's kind of a side thing. The most beautiful is that you understand your energy, and that you have something inside that is really can start to flower, that you can start to trust. Trust yourself and trust life.
Beautiful.
And when I grew up, no one said, trust yourself, trust life. They said, you can't trust anybody. And not even yourself. And don't trust life. People die here. Or whatever. But you can't trust life. You can't trust yourself, your inner self. So trust, feeling more love and open. And maybe also understand that I project my inner world onto others. So when I don't like you, it's something in me I don't like. And we project a lot. So there are tools so I can kind of breathe life when I go home and feel better. And then it's like we take teeth for fixing, we take car for fixing once a year or something. It's good to kind of also not do this once, but kind of meditate, learn how to meditate and stop. And it's good to give nourishment to your inner source and soul.
So true, and I think that's so important nowadays as well, because we're living in a more and more artificial reality where we're the rat race and we struggle a lot. So meditation for sure. So how can people reach you, and what is the best way to come in contact with you?
Best way is maybe to send me a mail at info@premleena.se. We can Skype, we can talk over, today there's possibilities over any border, over or countries or time zones. They can, unfortunately, my book is not out in English, but I hope it will come out soon. And my website, www.preemleena.se. So, and I'm on Facebook. Everyone over the world can look me up there. So, yeah.
We'll put all the information below also, so everybody can find.
That's good. That's good. Or phone me. Send me a text message or something. I am very good answering everybody.
Well, you might have a lot of viewers or people trying to follow you now. So, is there anything you would like? Is there anything you would like to finish up with? Just some tip on the road for people who are lost, perhaps?
You're never lost. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you don't like where you are, well, there's a good place to turn within and see, wow, how did I end up here? So however it looks, bad or whatever, wow, high time for change. Maybe my source, my soul, my inner is calling for a change. Wow, that's good. So never lost, perfect, and we can change. We can easy step out of that into more awareness and love. Always, always. If I could, everyone can. That's for sure.
Thanks so much that's all time we have. Premleena Wettergran, thank you so much for coming and sharing your beautiful self with everybody. And I encourage everyone to look at her website and connect with her for guidance. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to meet you soon.
Love.
Love.
Bye.